what intrigued you about Storyland, and why did you reach out?
I saw it was Gemma. I follow her on Instagram. She follows me, and I saw her interview, and it struck a chord to me that if I can put my story out there, maybe I can inspire someone the way Gemma has, or I watched some of your other videos as well then, and there's a lot of stories out there, and a lot of people have got a story to tell, but they won't for whatever reason. Maybe they're too shy, they don't want to put the story out there.
I've kind of found that as well. Neil, sort of, I've asked people and they said, I'd love to do it, but I'm not ready, or the people around are still alive, kind of thing. So you're always intrigued to go, I wonder what that is. You know, that the reason that you aren't allowed to speak about your own experience. And I've got a little bit of an issue with that as well. It's your experience. You should be allowed to say what you want because it is your story. So yeah, I mean, what is it about your story that you wanted to share? And is this the first time you've shared as well?
It's not the first time I've shared. It's the first time I felt comfortable sharing it. I broke my back 2006. It was a tough time, I'm not going to lie. Obviously a lot's gone on since. But yeah, I think if I've broke my back and gone on to do some of the things that I've done, especially over the last 5 or 6 years, I don't know, it's an inspiring story, and if you're willing to put the effort in, then there's gains to be made, and that you could put a big smile on your face, and hopefully you can put smiles on other people's faces as well by sharing that story. It's about getting up, doing something, and making the most of what you've got. I mean, we've been blessed with these bodies. Everybody's is the same inside. You can sort of sculpt it to be whatever you want it to be if you're willing to put the effort in. Like I say, there's a lot of joy to be had through exercise and through telling a story if you've got one to tell.
Was it that moment that's kind of changed your life? Was that the pivotal moment when things changed for you as well, Neil, that in 2006?
I think so, yeah. I sort of meandered through life. I'd dabbled with a bit of sport, and I'd done a bit of other stuff, and then I got to the point where I broke my back. I was a single parent at the time, and I thought, I need to... I've been very lucky here. It could have been very serious and a lot worse, but it wasn't. I was given this second chance, so I took it with both hands. I used to smoke, didn't eat properly, weren't in the best shape, and then it was sort of like, maybe I can do something. So I started doing some bits and pieces with the kids, messing around with fitness videos and DVDs. And then I got up one day and I went and bought myself a pair of running shoes. Well, I'm going to see if I can run a mile. I went out, I think I'd done about a quarter of a mile the first time I ran. I come back, I was blowing, I was sweating, I'm coughing, spluttering. And then you look at it and think, do I give up or do I go on? So I went on and I ran my mile, and then I ran 2 miles, and then I got to my first 5k, and then I got to 10k. So I've entered a local run, a 10k run, done okay in that, and then really got the bug, and then progressed. Then it moved on to half marathons, marathon, Ironman, strongman, Spartan beast, into the functional fitness stuff that I do now. So it's really snowballed and took hold.
So I'm just trying to think back. That clearly there must be something in your mind that's there because of the broken back that's pushed you on, because you weren't pushed on before that incident.
No.
So something
No
is
interest.
in you to push you on from then on. what's in your head when you're pushing yourself? I'd love to know.
It's not giving up. I don't want to give up. I got that first run where I ran my quarter of a mile and I come home disheartened and is this going to happen? And then it's almost like just that. Do you know what? I'm not going to give up. I don't want to give up. And then it's just snowballed and snowballed. And so I want to do something hard. I want to do something hard. I want to be the best version of me that I can be.
Was that all from the broken back, man?
I was never, like growing up, you know, you play football, cricket, bit of rugby, nothing major. And then, you know, start smoking, start drinking, going out partying and got no interest in anything. And sort of had my kids, sort of everything just, I don't know, there wasn't anything really. It was me and my kids, and that was my life. We had this little bubble where we meandered through life, and obviously I had the accident. And then it was that second chance. I've been given this second chance, so let's do something with it. And then I need a focus in front of me. That's where the quarter of a mile come from, and then the mile. I need something in here to say, right, this is your goal. So when you get to that goal, then you can either stick with that goal and run that mile twice or 3 times a week for the rest of your days, or the mile's not enough. Let's try for 2 miles. Let's try for 3 miles, and then all of a sudden you're running 6 miles. You're running 10 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, and it's just like when you get home, that feeling you get, unless you've been out and ran a marathon, or when you get back, that feeling you get, I don't know, you can't buy that feeling. You have to earn it. I think that's why it's so good.
Do you feel you've got like an addictive personality, Neil?
Oh, yeah, massively.
But you had that before. Was that
I think it was
fed in a lifestyle and
Yeah,
stuff like that?
I think when I got to that day where I said, I don't want to smoke anymore. There's an addiction. I don't want to be that person anymore. Let's go and buy some running shoes. That became my new addiction. So I had like a home gym that I was sort of putting together. I'd do a few bits and pieces, and I'd go out running, I'd go out cycling. And it sort of built from that. It was literally addiction to addiction. And then the focus and the drive sort of followed suit. As soon as you start seeing this skinny little 12-stone lad, and then all of a sudden I've become this 16-stone man. You know, I'm still like lean. I'm still young enough to be able to do stuff. But yeah, it is once you get past that first 3 to 6 months, and you start seeing changes, small changes at first, and then you look in the mirror and you think, God, that's a big change. And that big change becomes your 5-mile run, and you can see the progression almost weekly after that. If you're willing to, you just got to be willing to push yourself beyond your comfort zone.
How much has that become your identity now, Neil? Because it seems like you've kind of found what you really were looking for in the first place, but you're happy in that identity. You're comfortable now.
I am
being that person. You know?
Yeah, I think probably I've done the 5Ks, the 10Ks, the half marathons, the marathon, and the Ironman thing. And I've done that to death. I'd get up in the morning and go and run a half marathon just because, and it becomes, and sort of stagnated. So like I'll get up and I'll go and cycle 15 miles. I'll come home and then I'll go and run a half marathon. I'm thinking, and that's how I come on a Sunday morning on my long training session. So it's sort of like doing the same thing all the time. So a couple of years ago, I sort of, I know it's not cliche, but I've sort of found myself, as it were. I found like, this is where I want to be. I sort of found strongman and functional fitness sort of became my thing. And a lot of people, friends, family, whatever, they'll say to me, how do you do this? And you get people, you're going to make a film about you one day, or you should write a book. So I was like, okay, so I did. I went off and I wrote my book, and I sort of like that part of me doing that sort of inspired me to get up and be better. I was so the book's called Be Stronger Than Your Excuses. So now I have to be stronger than my excuses as well. So if I wake up in the morning and think, don't feel like it today, actually, do you know what? It doesn't matter that I don't feel like it. I'm still going to go and do it because I want to be the best that I can be. And if I can do that, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can inspire somebody else to get up and do something that they weren't going to do.
The book thing's almost like putting your money where your mouth is, because now you've got it on paper. Now it's a hard item in your hands. It's something that you could go, well, I haven't got any more excuses. I can't make excuses. Why? Because I wrote about it.
Yeah.
You can't escape a book. It's in print now, Neil,
Yeah.
So
but, I mean,
did that help,
I think so, yeah. It has pushed me on further. I mean, I've won 2 competitions in the last 18 months that I didn't think I'd ever do. Because you go and run a marathon, there's 10,000 people there. I'm just a bloke. That's what I always say. I'm just a bloke. That's the Instagram name. But by being just a bloke and training out of my bedroom and having the drive that I've got, I sort of like train myself up to become something else, not just a runner or a triathlete, which I loved doing at that time. But I've progressed past that now. So I've found sort of functional fitness, it's High Rocks, Deadly Dozen, Affex, and stuff like that. And it's much more me. It's a lot tougher than just getting up and running 13 miles, because it's lifting heavy weights and running and cycling at the same time.
It's accumulation of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've found your thing.
I found my home, yeah. It's everything that I love. So instead of sort of training for a half marathon, but still going out and deadlifting and squatting ridiculous numbers, I can now sort of bring the two together and bring my runs shorter, but still keep lifting the heavier weight. So I still get that buzz and pick something heavy up.
Yeah.
As much as I do when I'm out running.
Yeah, I mean, it tends to change a lot, the fitness industry as well, because you're going from CrossFit, strongman, running. I think the High Rocks thing has become a new thing as well. It seems to be a fashionable thing, but it's more communal as well. It's community based. You're doing things in teams.
Yeah.
And I've seen a big shift and a big change in gyms and how people approach gyms and go to gyms. It seems to be like more of a, people want to go to be a part of something as well, not just to be fit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge part of the change, and it's a positive change as well. Is there something in that kind of, I'm not calling like it's not a self-destructive mode, but like a self-punishment. Is there a self-punishment you find yourself in because of doing all the fitness stuff, Neil, or have you got a handle on that? Do you know when it's too much?
Oh, I do know when it's too much, but I also want to push past the too much, which is very difficult to keep a hold of. I know, so I'll write my workout plan for the night, and if it's a short one, it'll be like 90 minutes, or it could be up to 2-3 hours sometimes, a good hard cardio session. Then I know that the 3 hours I know it's too much, but if I've got the time in the day, then I would go and do that, no problem.
So you're almost setting yourself aside by writing something, so the plan tells me what to do.
Yeah.
So you don't get lost in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I could. Sometimes I could go to the gym, and I could be there all day if I didn't have a structured training plan. So I like to sort of give myself a 6-week plan, and then I'll move on then and do another 6-week plan.
You mentioned before we had the interview, ADHD.
Yeah,
Is that part of that reason?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm recently diagnosed with ADHD. It's like an adult diagnosis, so it's not something that I knew was there. I knew I was different in some way, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I suppose that diagnosis answers come along. But yeah, I'm very, I don't know, I have trouble relaxing. It's the problem.
Why did you seek that out as well, Neil? There's a reason you seek that out. Have you been looking for this from as a kid, or has it been an issue all your life?
No, I've just literally passing comments from a couple of people. It's like, God, you're so ADHD, you are, Neil. It's like, you sure you ain't got ADHD? It was just a case of me going to the doctors to prove all these people wrong. I ain't got ADHD. There's nothing wrong with me. So I'll go to the doctors to prove everybody wrong, and that's what you actually got ADHD and you're probably autistic as well. So it's just put the cherry on the top. But I'm thinking that's maybe the energy from the ADHD and the drive from the autism, having that focus has probably put me to where I am now.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, I'm nudging 50, and I'm probably in the best shape I've been in for a very long time.
It's fascinating because I think a lot of people they kind of wear it like a badge of honour to say I'm ADHD, because we bounce these things around quite easily. I think, especially now because of the internet, everybody has to have something.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear that you're like, I'm not bothered. It's not something I want to kind of wear on my sleeve. Do you know what I mean? It's not a badge I'm going to carry forward. It's just something that just so happens that other people pushed you into kind of finding out.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how I'm really not interested, to be perfectly honest. It's there. It's what helps to make me. I mean, I don't do medication or nothing like that to help it. It's there. If I get too fidgety, I'll sit on my hands, or I'll play with a little fidget toy to keep me busy. But other than that, I'm not very. Because once I'm in the gym and I've got my headphones on, nothing else matters anyway. It's me and my weights, or the running track, or both, or whatever it is I'm doing on that night.
Yeah, you're just creating your own little world, aren't you?
Yeah, to completely zone out of everything for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Can I spin it back? I just want to talk about your childhood as well. I want to know what shaped you into the person that you are now, because clearly you've been a much different person to who you are now. So let's just go back. Like, what's Neil as a kid like? What's the family dynamic? What's going on in your house?
I had a brilliant childhood. Me, brother, mum and dad. It was just your normal childhood. Mum and dad and the two kids. And we'd go off on holiday. We'd have days out. We'd play. We'd mess around. School was fine. Apart from Neil would do better if he listened in class, sort of things on the reports. But
that's where the
ADHD. Yeah. But yeah, it was a perfect, what you would, I don't know, maybe your average childhood, or an ideal childhood. I don't know. It depends how. What people view as an ideal childhood. You say 2 parents, 2 kids, plenty of friends. Everything was good.
I think an ideal childhood is probably people looking back going, there wasn't any bumps in the road, that was a major kind of left or right turn. I think that's what we seek, because I can go back and I can tell you the turning points in my life which made a huge impact. And it was a major impact, but there wasn't anything like that in your life at all?
No, mine probably the two major incidents in my life were as an adult. Firstly, splitting with my first wife and becoming a single parent to 2 girls, and then probably about 5-6 years later when I broke my back. They were the big turning points in my life. Sort of made me grow up, and then get a focus as well at the same time.
Because, I mean, it sounds like you're typical, because you're similar age to me, I'm guessing. It's that mid to late 90s, you're going out, you're partying, you're doing all the things which your mates are doing, everyone's just going to work and spending your money on a weekend. Is that kind of...
Yeah, that's pretty much,
how
pretty much, yeah.
Back then,
I woke up one day with a wife and 2 kids, and I think, how did I get here? It's almost like that.
Did you have kids earlier than Neil? I just want to get to that because that seems like
Yeah, I
a
was,
pivotal point in your life.
yeah, 21 and 23.
Really?
23 and 25, 23, but around about early 20s.
That's quite young though.
Yeah, it is, yeah, yeah.
Because you're going from partying to having kids. What was that like?
It was literally overnight. It was literally party, kids.
Really?
So yeah, it was, I mean, first thinking back, it was quite an easy transition because it was that focus thing. So the focus here was party, and then all of a sudden, child. You're like, oh, hang on a minute, new focus, and party life gets left behind then, and then you move forward in your new life as a grown up.
So there was no kind of resentment or anything like that. You didn't miss the old life, no?
No,
You
not
just
really.
went, right, this is the new thing.
Yeah, this
now.
is it. This is a new thing. Yeah, yeah. I suppose that's how I sort of am. It's this new focus. I don't know. I suppose going back, my life has been focus driven, or from that point anyway.
Yeah, just everything's kind of slotted into place.
Yeah,
Now I'm
yeah.
doing this, now I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So the split to become a single parent, can you speak about that? Are you happy to talk about that?
Yeah.
I just want to know at what age and that's going to be a massive shift because we don't normally hear about that as well, especially your dad being a single parent, you know.
Yeah. So my youngest would have been. My youngest was what was she? 8 months, and then the other one was 2.
Really? That's very young.
Yeah.
Ah, I thought it was like 10 or 12 or
No,
something.
no. And then I was, because we'd split, and I was living in a bed sit, and then I won't, this bit I won't talk about, but then I've got the kids, and I'm sat in a bed sit room, 6 by 6. I've got a bed, and I've got a microwave, and 2 kids in this room. And I've got to do something. So we went on the homeless shelter. And we ended up in a homeless shelter for 3 months, and then the council rehoused us to where I live now. So I rocked up at this 2-bedroomed house with the clothes and a microwave, and the help is I've literally got nothing.
Was this a necessity reason why you ended up with both the kids? Was this?
Oh, so, yeah.
So there was no choice.
Well, yeah, there was a choice. There was a choice where I could bring my kids up and I know they'd be happy and safe, or I could have left them where they was and potentially not been safe.
And was this relationship breaking down before this period as well? Because it seems like you've got 2 kids, all of a sudden, very, very quickly, the relationship's over and you're by yourself. Do you know what I mean? In a bed sit.
Yeah, the relationship. It wasn't a great relationship. Probably one that shouldn't have happened anyway. But yeah, she cheated on me. Well, that's it. Relationship done. So I went and then took the kids with me.
Yeah, and legally
They were better off with me.
Really?
Yeah.
So everyone agreed that was the case moving forward?
Yeah, we went through the courts. So I had full parental responsibility of both of them. And then they had access to their mum as and when.
What's that like, Neil? Because I've never talked to anybody about this kind of situation before. It is usually the other way around.
Yeah, it is normally, yeah.
So what's it like for Dad? I mean, I know you're a pragmatic kind of fella, He sounds like you are. You just get on with stuff and you go, all right, it's fine, let's move on.
It's tough.
But you're a dad by yourself in a bed sit with 2 kids. Yeah. That is huge.
I don't see it as huge. No, at the time, it's just crack on and get it. This is what I've been dealt with. Let's just do it.
I'm amazed you look at it like that. Honestly, it's kind of because I can't fathom it. That's all. Maybe that's the reason I'm trying to dig in it. But yeah, I'm not digging for a reason. I'm just digging because I'm trying to understand.
I don't know if it's the way my brain's wired. I don't know, but it's sort of like here's what you've been dealt with, and then it's compute, and then it's right. Okay, this is how we're going to deal with it. So I'm sat in my bed sit, and then what do I need to do? Well, I can't live here. So it goes, well, I'll phone the council up, help, and then they put me in a homeless shelter. And then it's like, well, we've got you a house, but all we've got is these clothes and this microwave and a set of saucepans. What we're going to do? I was like, we can give you a grant, and there's a shed out the back with some stuff in that you can have. So literally, we've got a trailer and got got some beds and an old settee, and literally beg, steal and borrow from whatever to furnish this house. And then it was, right, let's just deal with it. Let's live the best we can. And we had a decent life. We'd go out and do stuff. Money was always tight. It was tough. I took myself back off to college, got myself a job. And things obviously got better. With a decent job comes a decent pay. So the days out get better, the holidays get better, lifestyle gets a bit easier, new furniture comes in. And all of a sudden you wake up one day and you've got a nice house and 2 teenage girls, and sort of the last 10 years they're there, but it's probably shaped me and it's shaped our 2 girls into what we are now.
Changes your perspective on life when you haven't got any choice?
I think so, yeah. Because I mean, there's no choice. It's just you deal with this. This is what you're doing. You got no choice now. I mean, well, there's always a choice, but my choice was to raise my kids by myself.
And you've always been close with the girls as well?
Yeah.
It's still to this day, yeah. And have they kind of flown the nest now, Neil? Is it sort of that situation, or there's
Yeah.
still as well?
Just give me a minute. So I don't speak to my eldest daughter. I haven't spoken to her for a while. But I still speak to my youngest daughter, who's blessed me with a grandson recently.
Seems to be a
Yeah.
big thing now.
Yeah, it's massive.
Out of your control now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not your choice.
No. Yeah, it happened 2 years ago. We haven't spoke. She's got 2 sons and a partner, a flat, which I don't see. It's tough some days. Today being one of them, apparently. But yeah, as much as I don't, stuff happens in life. You say you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. It was. Some days it's tougher than others. Yeah, she's out there living a decent life. But yeah, we were close growing up.
That's the thing. That's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you accepted that, or?
Yeah. I think it's gone too far to go back now. It's probably been too long.
You sure? You think so?
I haven't spoken since 2019.
What do you think? Time?
There's always hope.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always hope.
Yeah. Because you've dedicated your life to raising 2 girls, and then something happens.
Yeah.
This happens.
Between
Between every family, do you know what I mean? I know for a fact, we fall out, we come and we go, but yeah.
It happens up and down the country to everybody. It's not just me. It's just, I was going to say, you deal with what's put in front of you.
Yeah.
Some things are tougher than others to deal with.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you get on with life, you do what you can, you move forward.
Yeah.
you've got that hope, which is good. Keep a hold of it, because that's what you have. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
fingers crossed, someday, that'll resolve itself. Do you know what I mean? You never
Hopefully,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, now. Sorry, I didn't know any of this, and I didn't want to pry too much into this. So
It's fine.
it's up to you how much you want to, divulge. I'm not going to dig too far.
It's good. It's good to talk.
Well, it kind of is, and it's sort of, for me, it understands your perspective in your life. For me, you've just dedicated all your life to raising 2 girls, and you just expect that that's going to be forever and ever and ever. This relationship and solid bond when you're close. Sometimes being close, there's a partition at some point in time because you're too close.
Yeah.
You may be too similar in personality traits. This is the thing with families, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just talking from personal experience as well, So at one point I didn't talk to my brother for 5 years, so I definitely know what that is. You know what I mean? So, but it is tough. But you clearly move on, and you're going to have feelings for that, but your other daughter's there, and you can kind of put energy into that.
Yeah.
You're a grandfather, which I cannot believe that you're a grandfather, Neil. Yeah, I think if you shave that beard off, you're going to look like 10 years younger than me. And I can't even believe you're nearly 50 either. So, because I was like, what's Neil, like 40 something? You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm throwing all the compliments at you to do this.
Cheers,
So, I would. But it is, and you keep yourself right, you keep yourself healthy. And also, let's talk about you being a mental health ambassador in your workplace as well. Before we go on to the broken back, I know people want to hear about that now, I want to hear about that, but I think these things and everything in your life are very much related, what's it like? Did you step forward to be, I'm going to be a mental health ambassador, or did it just fall in your lap because of who you are?
No, it was, so there was a course being run through work for men's mental health champion. And I've suffered with mental health in the past, spectrum of depression, and I've sort of been a bit body dysmorphic as well. So I thought it's right up my street. I've got myself to a point in my life where I'm happy. I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. I'm in a good place. I would like to be able to help others. So if somebody was to come to me and that they're having a bad day or they're having a bad period in their life, I can use my experiences to go back, or I can just sit and listen to someone over a coffee. It is like it's sort of like a men only club. So because men don't talk, men won't talk for whatever reason. They're too macho to talk. It'll be all right, just man up, and I'm not gonna have a cry or whatever. But we have to talk. We have to have a cry. It's not a problem.
Yeah, because people might have been through similar stuff to yourself, and it affects you every day. Yeah, it's no good sitting stewing about it, but I can't believe we're still talking about this to this day, 2025, and mental health is still, or men talking to each other is still an issue,
I know.
I don't know what it is.
It doesn't need to be. Do you know what I mean? If you're a man, woman, child, whatever, you need to talk. Otherwise, it's going to eat you up inside and spit you out in a very bad place, which is a difficult hole to get out of. But if you can sort of get to the point where you think, actually, do you know what, something's not quite right, I need to talk to someone, and then go off and talk to someone instead of getting to here where you're waking up and everything's dark and you're in the gutter and you've got to try and drag your way back out of it. It's so much easier to talk to someone, get it all off your chest, a good therapy session, have a good cry, and everything looks rosier after.
But I think it's better talking to somebody who's been through it and can understand it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people who've never been through anything can actually help you. They can just surface kind of throw a question at you to see what they're going to come back with, but I don't think there's any resolve in that. I think there's more of a resolve in someone like yourself going, actually, well, I'll tell you my story and what I did, this might help you.
Yeah.
It's kind of, people just want examples to go, oh, I've never thought about
Yeah, you don't want answers that are written in a book, do you? You don't need to hear that. You need to hear that actually, do you know what? Somebody else has been through this. Somebody else has been in a bad place and made themselves better. So yeah, so that's what being the men's health champion's all about. Getting men up and getting out, getting a little bit active and just having a talk, just walking and talking. Sort of what we're looking to do.
that. Is it having an effect? Are you getting somewhere with it now?
It's all new at the minute. It's only been like the last couple of months. So we had an event about a fortnight ago where we've done a bit of yoga and sort of had a chat and stuff, which sort of was quiet. We're going to have another one probably in June now. We're going to have an event. We're going to be put forward to the councils as here are your men's health champions. And here's their numbers if ever you need to speak to them. They can come and help you out and have a talk to you.
Is there more happening in the councils with this kind of stuff as well?
Yeah, I think it's quite big on it with the local government now. I don't know if they're trying to lead the way or they need to be seen to be doing something. But yeah, it is. It's quite big.
It is frustrating, isn't it? I mean, that's why all these CICs pop up, because there isn't any help and it takes forever to get an appointment. Because 18 months, somebody could be gone in that time.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be more immediate.
Yeah, you need some. If you need something, then if somebody's reaching out for help, they need it now, not in 6 months' time. It's a big problem.
Yeah, it's got to be in a day.
Yeah.
To be honest, in 3 hours, I think, really.
Yeah, because if somebody's reaching out, like I say, it needs to be now, don't it? So I mean, I suppose that's what we're doing. So if somebody's reaching out and phoning me up and saying whatever it is their problem is, I'll quite happily sit and talk to them and go and meet them in a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee and sort of signpost them to wherever's going to be best, which is normally going to be your GP. But like you say, it's getting an appointment in it. But at least they've got someone that they can speak to in the meantime if they need it while they're waiting for their appointments.
Yeah, I think they should do it like EA sponsors, you know, so you got somebody on call.
Yeah.
Who you're familiar with and you can actually talk to. I think you should have like a buddying up kind of system.
Yeah.
I think that might be a better way of doing it, because you want the immediate, and the immediate fills in the gap before you get to something which you really need.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Who did you have to go to? Did you have anybody now?
No, I bottled it up, ended up in the gutter, had a bit of a breakdown. Fortunately, there was sort of 2 or 3 people at work that I possibly could have spoke to, and I went into the office one day and I was like, actually, do you know what? I need some help. And there was only one of them available, and she was brilliant. She was really good, and they had someone through work that I could speak to, and within a couple of days I had an appointment.
That's
So
good.
I was literally straight in there, and then I had 6 sessions with her, and then I had 6 sessions with somebody else as well then.
So
And then that put me, sort of set me straight.
So what led you to, you talking about the dark path, what led you to that point? I want to understand, like, how old the kids are, where you are in your life at this point. Was it before the accident?
No, it was after.
Was it after?
After, yeah. Yeah, so probably, what would that have been? Probably about 11 and 12. I don't know, sort of downward spiral. But things weren't going great in my life, for whatever reason. It was just a downward spiral, but instead of speaking to someone about it, I just thought, oh, be all right, deal with it, be all right in the morning. So I was when I have a cup of coffee and a fag, it'd be all right in the morning. And it weren't. And it got to the point where I was just waking up, or just could have just sat and cried all day. But you go to work and you paint your smile on your face and everything's rosy, and it makes it worse. Every day you're getting a little bit worse instead of a little bit better, which you think you're doing. And just got to the point then where I was like, actually, you know, I've got to do something here. I've got to.
What kept you going? Is it because you're a single dad with
Yeah,
kids
the
as well?
kids kept me going, kept me going through everything.
And this is before your lifestyle change as well
Yeah,
to who you are now.
yeah.
So let's talk about the accident, the broken back.
Okay.
What happened there? What's that's the build up, the whole thing? How and why? You know.
Okay, so it's winter 2006. I woke up one morning, had a pain in my back, a really sharp pain. It was going on for a couple of days, so I went to the doctors, and I was like, "You slipped a couple of discs." So the bottom two discs in my spine had both slipped out. And then I was out playing with the kids in the snow, building a snowman, playing with snowballs. Over I went, back on the curb, the whole lot smashed to pieces. Obliterated was the word the sonographer used.
Really?
Yeah, just thousands of tiny little pieces, and then that severed the sciatic nerve as well, all them bits. So it was a lot of pain for quite a long time.
Was there any like, are you going to walk again kind of things or not? Was there,
Well, no,
was there
because
any issues with that?
I was walking, but I could still walk, but I couldn't use my left leg. Like I couldn't. So as I was walking, my left leg wouldn't bend, so I was sort of like walking with a proper limp. It was in the March, and it was the following January before I had it fixed. So I had sort of March to January where I was just eating painkillers like they were going out of fashion because it was just absolute agony every single day. And then they cauterised the sciatic nerve then. But I'd lost all the muscle had gone in my left leg. Now my quads and my calves are completely different shapes and sizes because of all the muscle wastage. Still in pain 24 hours a day with my back, but it's managed through gym stuff now. So sitting here now still for this long, it's quite painful, but it's just one of them. So I have a stand-up desk at work because I can't sit for too long. So I'll just stand up and work for a couple of hours to ease it.
So what started the slip disc? Was there something with the slip disc?
Just got out of bed
Really?
and I slipped out. There's
So because you were, obviously you're not active, you're not fit and healthy, you're not kind of strengthening your body
no.
in the way you're doing now. And then you go outside with slip disc and you fall over and then you break your back.
Yeah.
And then they rush you to hospital or take you to hospital. What's your thoughts then?
I didn't have to go to hospital. There was no
you
hospital.
didn't? There was no hospital?
I went to the doctors the day after because it
Really?
was because I was in a bit of pain.
Just a bit of
I'd
pain.
all this pain shooting down my leg.
Right.
So I went to the doctors and they gave me some painkillers and sent me off for
An MRI,
an MRI scan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gone through the tube and come back, and the guys looked and he said it's obliterated. Okay.
How can you walk and be obliterated? I kind of get my head around it. Was it just like you just, I've just got a bit of pain? Was it just you shrugging it off? Or
yeah.
what? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like to be all right in the morning.
You haven't got time for pain.
Yeah, I don't have time for this. The kids ready for school. But yeah, it was one of them. I suppose it was. It was just okay. Well, I broke my back, so let's deal with it.
Really? So there's no issues of like, what happens if it's not going to be normal again? What happens if I slip? Is it going to damage it even more? Was there any kind of issues around that? Any thoughts around that?
A bit of worrying. I mean, there's a couple of times where I'd be sat in my chair at work or on the settee at home or on the floor at home playing with the kids, and I couldn't get up. I'd go to get up and I was just, hang on a minute, just give me a minute. And sort of trying to scrabble around to try and get up. There's a couple of bits of that, and then I was sort of, I don't know what's going to happen here, but keep taking the painkillers and do what the physio says. And they cauterised it, and it was almost like a little miracle because all the pain, absolute agony that I'd been in for the last 8 months, hadn't disappeared, But instead of being sort of like up here, it was, you know, it's manageable pain now. I don't take painkillers anymore because it's manageable. I know it hurts. It's like a toothache. Constant toothache it's just always there across the bottom of my back.
So you just kind of, so what's that like when you sort of, at what point you go, actually, I'm going to get fit and healthy? You've got all of these issues, because that's usually the opposite for people. They'll go, I can't do anything because I've got this problem with the back and my leg's not strong. What switched that?
I don't know. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that says, I can't do this, I can't do that, I've got this. There's people out there with worse injuries. You know, you watch the Paralympics, you look at them guys, you watch Invictus Games, you look at them guys, they're a lot worse than I am. Look what they do.
Have you always thought about that before you started getting into action? Do you know what I mean? Starting to kind of change your lifestyle? Because I just want to know, was there one day when, sod this, I need to do something about it? Or not?
I just started on this fitness journey, and I was like, actually, do you know what? I'm going to raise some money for Help for Heroes, because they do a lot. It's good charity I support. So I went off and I'd done a 2-hour cardio session at the local gym. They supported me. I said, look, I want to do this event. I want to do 30 minutes rowing, 30 minutes cycling, 30 minutes running, and then 30 minutes on a cross trainer, and raise some money for Help for Heroes. So that was my first sort of adventure into getting sort of like fairly fit.
So doing it for another cause.
Doing it for, yeah, I've done one for Help for Heroes, and I've done 3 for Fisher House in Birmingham, which is part of the QE. So they house the families of wounded soldiers. So I raised money for them 2 or 3 times. And I've done a couple of poppy runs as well. So it's all sort of any charity stuff I've done. It's been sort of around ex-servicemen and women, or injured servicemen and women.
Is that just because of like finding the Invictus Games and stuff like that, because of that sort of world? I mean, is there a kind of the thing that gravitates you to like the military world, or is it mentality? Is there anything like that in that?
I always wanted to serve but didn't get a chance. But one regret in life, not being able to serve, that's through health issues. I was at the point of waiting for my date to go in, and I had bronchial pneumonia, and I was just like, sorry. And that was that. Dream was over, just like that.
So that's been in the back of your mind for quite a long time then, yeah?
Yeah, so I do, like if I can do something and raise a couple of quid for them, then I'll do that.
So your journey from, obviously, your lifestyle change now, you've gone, it's a huge transitional period and change in your life. Where are you at now with this? Where are you at with just you and life? Want to know what that looks like now? What's the future great. As well?
Life's great at the minute. Life is great. Training's going well. I won a couple of events last year. Got some events this year. Found the love of my life.
So you've got a new kind of relationship going on, yeah?
Yeah.
And how did you meet?
We met 10 or 11 years ago at work. We sort of flirted with each other, had a bit of a thing.
So it wasn't over a High Rocks competition or anything like that? Or
no, it was way before I started exercising. It wasn't right for us at that time. And we met again just after Christmas this year. And it was the right time. We've stayed in touch over the last 10 years. It was always going to happen with us. I think it was just waiting for the right time.
You got some patience now. You seem like you've kind
She's worth it.
Yeah, it seems like you've waited around for quite a long time, and you seem you've worked really hard to get what you've got now today.
Yeah.
I mean, being happy and content,
it's worth waiting for.
Yeah.
The feeling I've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
well worth waiting for.
So what's your plan? What's your future plans? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Let's look at that. I love to know.
I'm trying ATHEX this year. I haven't done that before, so I'm sort of hoping, I'm doing the singles in that, so I'm hoping to do well in that and then qualify for the finals in December at the NEC. I've started learning Olympic weightlifting as well, so there'll be sort of competitions coming up for that. Probably, I think maybe might be one this year. If not, there'll be some next year. Sort of push that forward. And I was introduced to stone lifting last year as well, which I absolutely loved. So there'll be more stone lifting as well. I think it's yeah. I've done high rocks. I weren't that impressed with it. I've done the deadly dozen. Absolutely love that. Love that. Like if anybody's watching this and they want to do something, deadly dozen, it's brilliant.
What is that?
So it's 12 runs and 12 labours. So you run 400 metres around the track, and then you'll come in and you'll do sort of like 60 deadlifts, and then you run 400 metres, and then you'll do 60 squats, and then that goes on 12 times. That's what I love doing. Absolutely love that. It's sort of like it's an hour of hard work while you're doing it. But that's what gives me my buzz at the minute. Deadly dozen.
So your kind of life is definitely in the fitness and kind of lifestyle and mental health and mental well-being, all the things that's got you to where you are now.
Yeah.
You're kind of wearing it on your sleeve now.
Yeah, I love hiking as well. I've just had last week, had a week in John O'Groats where there was just me, and there was just nothing anywhere, not a person in sight, just me for sort of 7 or 8 hours a day, just walking. It does wonders for you. Can't recommend it enough.
Well, let's just go for one last message, please, Neil. You've been through quite a lot, and I know there's lots we can unpack and advise to other people out there. But I think with being a single dad, that's an important issue. And I think about breaking your back and then changing your lifestyle to be fit and healthy. Those 3 things are quite big. So anything you wanted to say to anybody out there who's suffered, which one of these kind of really stands out to you, which you would like to advise on?
Do you know, until today, until like, you sit and talk about it, and you've just said they're massive things. I've just got on with life. The rewarding side of things, I suppose, are different. You know, you look at running and lifting, you get that reward at the end. You get like that runner's high, or you get that buzz from picking up something different. But the biggest reward, I suppose, bringing your kids up. It's, I don't know, it's the best thing you can do.
So kind of sticking it out now.
Yeah.
Being there.
Be there. Yeah. Be there for your kids, and yeah, set them on the right path. Be a good parent, and be the best version of yourself that you can be. I think it is the biggest message. Just be the best that you can be.
You seem to be very selfless as well now. Even though you're doing things for yourself, that's not top of your list. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Because you kind of get on with it and go, oh, this is what we're doing now. Oh, I need to do that for other people. You don't think about, I need to do it. There's not a lot of I, you know. There's like...
I go to the gym for 2 hours, 5, 6 days a week. That's my time. That's me. I'll put my headphones on, and it's me. I'll train hard, and that's my therapy. It doesn't matter what's gone on, what my day at work's been like, or what's going on in my private life. Them 2 hours at the gym when my headphones are on, that's my therapy session.
And it's quite inspiring as well when you say you're just a bloke.
That's what I always said. I'm just a bloke. At the end of the day, I'm just a bloke, and I do stuff. if somebody's inspired by my story, brilliant. Yeah, just it says in my book, if one person gets in touch with me and says thanks, then that book was worth writing, or the troubles I had with writing that. It was all worth it for that one person.